Hello, 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 hello. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Let's talk live. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Well, Monday afternoon here in sunny California. Good afternoon. Hello, hello. Blessings, blessings, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, today is a very interesting topic. I am excited to come on here and chat with you guys today. We are going to have a very, 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 very interesting topic. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and ready to talk. Hello, hello. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am Altaria Woodside. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you. Hey, hey, hey. First of all, I want to shout out to all our official supporters of the channel. It's November, so we have made some changes to our channel. So only if you are an official member, you will be able to chat. But we can fix that. Just become an official member. So be an official supporter of the channel. Thank you guys for coming on. There are 3 levels of support, you guys. You have supporter, super supporter, and VIP supporter. So if you have been blessed by this channel over the years, over the months, over the weeks, over the days, over the hours, become an official supporter of the channel. I see you guys coming in. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Oklahoma is in the house. Hey, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you. So, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed last week. Last week, it was story time last week where I told my story, and I haven't told that story in a long time. So, it was very refreshing to tell again. Some people say, Meltoria, how? How, Meltoria? Texas is in the house. Hey, Texas. Thank you for joining today. Thank you. Thank you. Members are dropping in the chat. Supporters, official supporters are dropping in the chat. But you guys who are out there just listening, I see you too. I see you too. Thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome. So listen here, you guys. Today's topic is based on, so last week y'all know how I told my story, right? And how I told y'all, well, one of the things that I said is I was leaving, right? I had to pack up and I had to leave. But as I was leaving, I was going to leave the babies behind. I was going to leave, the kids behind. Someone said, as a mother, how can you leave your baby behind? No man is worth leaving your baby with him. Mothers, protect your cubs, okay? Mothers, protect your cubs. First of all, let me say, if you are a wife tuning in and you out here running these streets and acting all rebellious, right, and doing all manners of ungodly, this is probably not for you, okay? Because you have some mothers out there, they're leaving their kids because they want to do what they want to do. They want to be out here acting single. This is not for you. Okay, this today's conversation is for the wives who are having a struggle in their marriage. They're having a difficult time for their husbands and they're on the fence of, you know what? I gotta leave for my sanity. I have to leave for my protection. I have to leave for my mental health. Okay, so this is who this conversation is for today. So yeah, so this person say, as a mother, how can I leave my babies? Well, as a mother, well, one of the things that I said would like, okay, agree with me, right? Agree with me. And you could also, and you could tap the hearts, tap the finger, tap the like. And like I said, this is a very unpopular opinion, right? And very unpopular opinion. I'm well aware because we see in society when the husband leaves, he automatically leaves the children. Right. When the wife leaves, she automatically take the children. I don't know why is that? Like why? Like who laid the rules for who have the children, right? So my response was, are not they equally my their father's child, right? Just as they are my children, are they not equally my husband's children? So was I leaving them with a stranger, someone who's not known to them? right? I don't know. Someone somewhere is responsible for this idea of, in the event of a split, a breakup, the mother should automatically have the children, right? Or the father should automatically leave the children. We have to change our mindset and how we think about that, right? For a couple of reasons. Um and so, like I had explained, me, my reason why I left was because my husband don't play about his children. I was already in a fight. I was already in a battle. So I wasn't trying to create another battle. Okay. I listen here. Y'all ain't picking your battles. I'm picking mine. So I know that if I would have taken those children, it would have been another battle to fight. And I just wasn't in the headspace to fight that battle. And because I knew that my husband loved his children equally just as I love them, right? They got his DNA as equal as they got my DNA, right? So I knew that I wasn't leaving my children with strangers. I was leaving them with their father. Now this is, y'all, let me know now, right? Let me know. Ain't your children belong to your husband? Now if your children ain't belong to your husband, and you out here, it's a struggle, and you want to, you got to leave for your mental health, if you have to leave for your safety, if you have to leave and fight from a distance, you may have to very well take that child because it's not his. Okay, it's not his children. Come on now. Am I making sense today? Come on now. Am I making sense today? Now, I know that over the years, probably in ancient, it goes back as far as it goes back, like mothers had a unbalanced sense of responsibility for their children, right? Texas is in the house, blessings, right? There has been an unbalanced responsibility for the children where the mother or the wife was taking care of the children more. Now, by the grace of God, because this was not my situation, this is not my case, but to God be the glory. Over the years, I've gained some wisdom in this area. So, my advice, if you are a wife, if you're having a difficult time in your marriage, whether it's the adultery, whether it's abuse, whatever level it is, and you're planning on, listen here, I got to leave for my mental health, I got to leave for my safety, I have to leave for my security, it doesn't, it should not be where you think you got to automatically take the kids. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, we had someone on here was like, "No, Taria, it's so hard with the kids." Well, why? Why? It's yes, it is hard with the kids, and the husband should share the burden, right? Now, it may be not necessarily maybe too late for some people, but this is something to add to your prayer that your husband is, just as a father to your children as you are the mother. Because what we have done, even outside of dealing with issues in the marriage, all the responsibility, you as the mother, you probably were the first to jump at, whatever responsibility as far as the children's needs, if they needed changing, if they needed care, if they needed looking after, you probably jumped to it first. Right? Let me tell you something. Even now, sometimes when my probably the older son, when he have his issue and he starts screaming for whatever reason and needs to attend, I don't budge. Now, if my husband is not there, I probably would budge. But most of the time when my husband is there, I don't budge because why? I got to be the one to go and jump to see what's wrong with the kids, right? Come on now, someone say right, exactly. So here is the thing now. Let me tell you all something. So during the time, me and my husband were working on our marriage, my husband went to live to another island, right? And I stayed on, so we were living separately. And we gave, well, my oldest son, we asked him, hey, do you want to go with your father, or do you want to stay with me? Listen here, he wanted to go with his father. Okay, some of y'all out here, hugging on to these children, they probably want to be with their father. But you're feeling as if that you're more parent than the father. So what you're doing, you're hugging up on these children. They have to be with you. You have to be making all the shots. You have to be making all the decisions. Listen, that's unbalanced. That is not balance, and that doesn't mean that you are an amazing parent. You make it sound as if you're hogging the children. Okay, it's like you're hogging the children. Let me tell you something. So, anyways, I asked my oldest son, "Hey, do you want to stay or do you want to go with your father?" My son want to go with his father, and it's the baby. So we decided that the baby is going to stay with me one week, and we were going to rotate. Let me tell you something. During the times that the baby was with me, he was about 1 year. He was about like a year old at this time. Someone say, "Mine don't." Right? My baby was about a year at this time, and every time he was with me, he would be sick. I'm talking about vomiting and diarrhea every single time. And so I took him to the doctor, like, what is the problem? The doctor couldn't find a problem with the baby. So I'm trying to figure out, why is he always sick? Now when he was with his father, he was never sick. Right? He was never sick. So I'm back and forth to the doctor trying to give him medicine, and nothing was working. You know what my dad told me? My dad told me, he said, "Ain't nothing wrong with that baby. He want to be with his father." And so I thought it's strange because, my daddy, my daddy was always sarcastic. So I was like, whatever. But listen here, come to think about it, every time he was with me, he was sick. And when he was with his father, he was never sick. Right? The doctor referred me to take him to a specialist to look at his stomach. But guess what? Whenever he was with his father, he was never sick. My son, the baby, he was father sick. So he was having a separation issue from his father. Now, like someone say, "Mine don't." It may not be the same situation across the board, right? It may not be the same situation across the board. Now, if you're in a relationship where the relationship with your father, with the children's father, and them is unbalanced, they don't have a good relationship. Now, I can understand if you have got to leave, you got to take your children. But that wasn't my case. That wasn't my situation. Okay, my situation was my husband loved his children and my children love their father. Okay, so guess what? It was not a bad idea for me to leave the kids. Let me tell you something. Even okay, so society have this impression of what we should do as mothers, right? But let me tell you something. I began to realize that even when my oldest son was in school, like when my husband was not around, I was a little bit, women are but emotional, we're a bit more sensitive. So he was falling behind in his classes, right? He was falling behind in his classes. When he was with his daddy, he wasn't falling behind at all. And so when he would miss homework, he would give me a story. "Well, I forgot my book," and that would be okay. But when he was with his father, listen, he would never forget his book. He would never forget his homework. Do you guys ever experience now? Do you got now this if you have children, if you ain't got no children now, don't say, "I'm sorry, I ain't no children." Well, let's say it for you. Okay. So do you experience that if your husband speak to your child, they would listen on the first time? But you say something to them, it's like you gotta repeat 4 and 5 times. Anybody could testify to that. Your husband speak once, they listen quick. But when you speak 4 or 5 and 6 times, you got to keep repeating yourself, keep repeating yourself. Come on now. And you trying to convince me that in the event of separation, the children should be with you. No, they should be with their father. I believe that it's more beneficial for the children to be with their father than with their mother. Now, of course, this goes with wisdom, this goes with judgment. Like I say, if the relationship is bad between the father and the child, whether the father he don't check for the child, if he is abusive towards the child, whatever the case may be, you may have to analyze that situation. And two, you're gonna now come on now. Your husband may be abusive towards you, But that doesn't mean that he's abusive towards the kids. Come on now. Welcome to the chat. We got the supporters live in the chat. Remember, you guys, if you want to take part in the conversation, you got to become a supporter, okay? So listen, today we're talking about if you're in a position where you need to leave your home, you feel like you need to leave your home for your safety, for your mental health. Come on now, you leave them children. Someone say, even with the adulterous woman there. Yeah. Why does it matter if the adulterous woman is there or not? That's their father. Your husband being in an adulterous relationship do not mean that he is less than a father than if he wasn't. Now, see, y'all gotta read. Y'all gotta. This is where emotions come in, and this is why I said women are so emotional. I don't want her around my children. She is around their father, so she got to know that the children is a part of the deal. Come on now, that's what happened when you mess with married baggage. Come on now. Let me tell y'all something. Case and point. I had a situation, right? This sister, she was newly divorced, and the court said, hey, the children gotta be, with the father this amount of time and be with you this amount of time. She was like, Victoria, what am I supposed to do? The baby needs this, that, this thing, and the next thing. I was like, well, how would he be able to be the father that he needs to be if he never get the opportunity to do it? Many of you are not giving your husbands the opportunity to be the father that he needs to be. So the issue was that the baby had a little skin irritation and the baby needed ointment. But the baby needs ointment. What to do? Send the ointment. Send the ointment. Now the kids I think they did like 3 or 4 days or whatever like that, you know. And so, yeah, but guess what? After a couple of weeks, the baby was fine. The father, who apparently did not take up the responsibility, because the mother was always there when the child needed, always there. Child pamper need to change there, need to bathe there, the mother there, right? So now we create this unbalanced activity, right? We create this unbalanced relationship. Come on now, am I telling the truth? Am I telling the truth? So this is why children are bonded more with their mothers and their fathers. Because every time the children need something, the mother showing up. When the children need to eat, mother showing up. That's unbalanced. And so this is why you have it where the children are not getting attached to their father and being so attached with their mother. So, like I said, this sister, newly divorced, the courts ordered the children be with her a certain period of time and to be with the father a certain time. So she was having a whole panic attack. A whole panic attack because one of the children was a baby. But guess what? Because of her, you got to swallow the pill because, like I said, society have put this idea in our minds about how we have to, take care of our children, be with our children. Society have done that. So the anxiety that she had went away. The anxiety that she needed went away. Listen here. It came to a point where she stopped packing Pampers. If they are going to their father, why do you need to pack Pampers? He got to learn how to go to the store and buy the Pampers. If he ain't got no Pampers, that on him, that ain't on you. Now, I know, because listen, don't mind me talking like this. You have to get to this place because even when I was separated from my baby, I was having that anxiety. I was having that anxiety of what they eat. You feed them. I was having that anxiety. But I had to realize that these children ain't going to no stranger. They are going to their father. He is equally their father as I am their mother. Right? A sister told me earlier this year, she said, Meltoria, my daughter asked me if I could go live with her, if she could go live with her father. Now, the children get more sense than plenty people. Okay? The children get more sense than plenty people. Let me tell you why. So the daughter says, Mommy, I want to go live with my daddy. So the mother was feeling all in her feelings. She felt sad that the child wanted to go and live with her father. But here is what the child's reasoning was. She said, if I am living with my father, I know that you will be there all the time. You will pick us up when you need to pick us up. You will come and see us. You will come out your way to see us. But if I live with you, then it's hard to see my daddy. It's hard to talk to him. Come on, somebody. I said, brilliant, daughter. So she realized that, hey, while I'm living with my father, it's always pulling his teeth for him to come around, always pulling his teeth to come to events, always pulling his teeth to see him. But if I'm living with him, he have no choice. Many of you are putting yourself in this strain because you're taking away the responsibility because you are there. Because you are there. Come on, somebody. Another case in point, another situation. Another mother, right? She had a nursing baby. The baby is nursing. She said, Meldoria, what am I going to do? I'm nursing. Yada yada yada. I say, well, here is what you got to do. You got two options. Either you pump enough milk, right? Either you get enough supply for when the baby goes to his father, or you supplement with formula. But I don't want to supplement with formula. Well, pump enough milk. So now here it is. The courts now, because now they went to court because they had to come into an agreement, right? So they went to court, and what the court said, it wasn't in the eyes of the court. Your problem was not a problem. Figure it out. You want a nurse? That's an option. Put the baby on formula. I was like, she said, she came to me, she said, Meldoria, the court say I gotta supply the milk or put the baby on formula. I said, okay, come on up. Let dad be daddy to these kids, right? Right. This is the same reason why someone felt as if me leaving my children would make me less than a mother. What? I didn't have to protect my children from nothing. What was I protecting them from? Their father loved them. He is equally their father as I am their mother. So if I am leaving because I'm under duress, I'm in stress. Why I gotta take the children? Why it automatically gotta be I the one to take the children? Listen here, some of y'all to let these husbands stress y'all out, right? So now he done leave the house and living free like a bird. He living free like a bird as if he ain't any responsibility. Give him some responsibility. I assure you. If you now this ain't for everybody, because you gotta know your situation. You gotta know who you dealing with, right? Because some husbands, because they are now forced in this situation, they will be forced to step up and be the father that they need to be. That means, hey, looking for daycare. That means feeding their children. Listen here, now at this particular time, my husband and I, we were probably about 13 years together. We were probably already 7 or 8 years married, right? When we separated, my husband was living one place and I was living a next place. This was the first time I realized that my husband could cook. When we together, my husband don't cook. But when he was with his children, he was cooking. I was like, I didn't know you could have cooked. But he was cooking because he had to make sure that his children had a good meal, right? Someone say, with all the children, do you let them make their own choice and not get in the middle of their relationship with their dad? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, like I said earlier, because when me and my husband, we were living separately, my son was probably about 7 or 8 at the time. I don't know, between 6 and 8. I'm not sure. But I asked him, do you want to live with your father, or do you want to live with me? Let me tell you something. He wanted to go live with his father. For a second, I felt hurt. I was like, what? Mind you, this is the same kid. When I was leaving, he said, Mommy, wherever you go, I go in. But when we were living separately, he wanted to go live with his father. And I had to be okay with that. I was just mentioning a second ago how another sister, her daughter asked her if she could go live with her father. She wanted to go and live with her father. So yes, we let them decide. See, here is the thing that we have to understand. And some of you wives, you're taking on a burden of trying to bridge the gap of relationship, trying to make the father have a relationship with their children. That's on him. That ain't your fight. That's his fight. At the end of the day, believe it or not, your children gonna be okay. Keep them in prayer. Don't throw the father under the bus. Sometimes y'all know how y'all go, y'all get bitter. You start talking about, well, he ain't no good, he don't do this for you and he don't do that for you. You're sowing seeds of bitterness, and that's going to cause your children to become bitter towards their father. But if you don't do that, hey, pray for him. No, he could be all right. That's your daddy. He love you. Guess what the relationship turn out between the father and the children, that's going to be between them. Listen here, some of y'all gotta stop playing, jury and judge, the middleman, try to force something. No, don't do that. That's You work on your relationship as a mother. You work on what your relationship with your children look like. You focus on that. Okay, how it looked like between the father and the child, that's going be between them. Now, keeping them in prayer, I always encourage people to pray against the spirit of rebellion, pray against the spirit of rejection in the name of Jesus. Decree and declare that they will have no room in your children's heart. Because let me tell you something, the enemy is very crafty. And the children can feel rejected because, okay, why my father ain't here? Why he don't love me no more? Listen here, it's okay to say, hey, your father not being here is not because of you. It's because of us. So make sure that you pray for us. Pray for your mommy and daddy. Come on, somebody. Am I making sense today? Now, like I said, because some of y'all just coming in, some of y'all out here, your wives, y'all won't go, you want act single, you don't want to be a mother no more, and you just want up and leave. This ain't for you. Okay, this ain't that conversation. I ain't talking about that. Okay, I am talking about wives who are under distress. For your mental health, you're in a place, in a position where you're thinking about, hey, you know what? Not saying that you're leaving your husband, not saying that you want to divorce your husband, but you might be in a place, in a position where you feel as if that you need to leave. Whether that's, hey, I need to distance myself, right? Let me pray from a distance. I can't take this. I can't deal with this. Listen here, before you automatically up and take your children, consider leaving them with their father. Right? Someone said, my husband sees them once a week. He works most of the time and never has any money. My 7-year-old son doesn't like him because what he does he is doing to us. He sees a lot, but I want them to spend time together. I understand, the want to spend time with their father. I know that, no mother out there do not want their children to have a relationship with their children. But like I said, you have to use judgment, right? Because a lot of you, the reason why the relationship is distant now, that you're having issues, is because the relationship were distant when you were together. When you were together in a marriage, you were always the one showing up. You were always the one providing for your children. When they always came to you. When they needed food, they always come to you. Anybody got, like the children, mommy, 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 mommy? So the problem that you may be having is not just because you're separated. This problem existed while you were together. The children have a ailment, a ache. The father don't show up because why? You were the first one showing up. You were the first one being there. So now that caused, or that cultivated, a distant relationship between father and child. Right? It did do that. And I always tell, people who are new mothers, I've had the opportunity to, tell people, I said, listen here, now that you're having these children, you make sure that he's changing pampers just like you're changing pampers. You're not the only one changing pampers. Okay, you're not the only one making bottle. You're not the only one getting up through the night. So see, with that, it causes balance. It causes balance, so that all of this is bonding time. All of these little things is bonding time. Now I just was trying to figure out. Now I don't know. This for people who have older kids. I was trying to figure out like what goes on in my children's head. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out like what goes in my children's head. Sometimes they ask their daddy for something. Sometimes they ask me, certain places they go, they ask their dad. Certain places they go, I'm like, like in their minds, what strategy are they using? So I had the opportunity to ask one of my kids, like how you all decide who you all want to go to. Listen here, it's based on the situation. If the situation is this, I come into you. If the situation is that, I go into daddy. So even in their minds, based on the relationship they have with each parent, it's how they respond or interact with them. I don't know if it's y'all, but that's how it is with my kids. They have a strategy in which they ask for things, or they have a strategy in which they want to they want to go somewhere. If they don't want the hassle of their father, they come into me, because see, again, they know I'm a bit soft-hearted, and that could be not good in some situations, right? Yeah, when they sick, the nurse shows up, right? And their father are a bit more masculine towards them. But this could be bad in some areas, because when they, like, some of you are just coming on. When I said my oldest son, he was slacking off in school, forgetting homework, not doing what he was supposed to do, he had no problem coming to tell me, I forgot my homework. I forgot, but he had no problem with that, because he knew that mommy ain't gonna do nothing. But he would never try that with his daddy. He would never try that. Come on, somebody. Am I making sense today? Yes. Come on now. Because they see the toughness in their father. Now, sometimes, listen here, the milk already spilled. We can't cry over spilled milk. So now that we know better, we do better. As you're in, okay, this is another situation that I had, right? Because someone asked earlier, what about the case where the other woman is pregnant, or present, or the strange woman is pregnant? I had a situation where this mother, the children actually wanted to go with their father, but the mother didn't want them to go because he was with the other woman. Let me tell you all something. It's important to teach our children right from wrong, right? It's very important. You Sometimes the reason I think what we're afraid of is that we don't want to think the relationship that the husband is in is okay, right? We're afraid that your children will accept that relationship as okay. Let me tell you something. They could very well be around their father and know that the relationship that they're in is not okay. They could very well be around their father and know that, hey, what he is doing is wrong. Come on, somebody. Am I helping somebody today? Am I helping somebody today? Your children know. It's just important for you to lay down some, like some ground rules. Hey, let me tell you something. When you over to your daddy, if anybody mistreats you, let your daddy know, right? Or let me know. If anybody hits you, or listen here, touch you in a certain way, let me know. You just got to lay down those ground rules, because those ground rules are important. But if if their father is in this extramarital affair, don't withhold the children from him. Listen here, that's wrong. It is wrong. There are wives responsible for the downfall in the relationship between father and children because of this. Don't let that be you. You don't be the one. Let other people do that, but you don't be the one. Like I said, and someone is probably watching, right? Watching, but just not, subscribe or become a member. But a number of times, no, sorry, it's so hard. It's so hard with these children, because while you're taking on the full responsibility, let me tell you something. Pack them children up. You know where your husband stay. Pack your children up with their clothes. Pack them up Friday. Drop them by your husband wherever he's staying, and tell him you're picking them up on Monday. Come on, somebody. Hey, honey, thank you for joining. Pack. You don't have them all week, right? You don't have the burden of them all week. Pack them up. Now you ain't gonna have no conversation with him, right? You know he living by his mom or his sister or his brother, or hey, you buy certain such a person. Yeah, okay, no problem. I drop the children there. I picking them up on Monday. The problem with y'all is y'all giving them options, like they got options. No, this is your child, just like it's my child. This your seed is your responsibility, just as it is mine. And you might say, well, it's hard for me to do that because my children don't like it. Your children, listen here, even encouraging your children not to like their father. Listen here, you gotta be careful, because you don't want, at the end of the day, you're standing in the way of the father-child relationship, encouraging them to talk about they don't like their daddy. What kind of foolishness that is? You can't even encourage that. That shouldn't be an option for them. That's why I say, you guys, just as long as you're not throwing the father, underneath the bus, you're not talking negative behind him to the children. Don't do that. Because now how they feel towards their father is your responsibility. That's on you. I saw a situation where this mother, let me tell you something, she was degrading the father. Your daddy ain't nothing. Your daddy don't love you. Your daddy, he don't take care of you. He don't this, he don't that. And then when the child get around the father and then is experiencing something different than what you said, now he's confused. Like, why are you so nice? Why are you so loving? Why are you so kind? And you're trying to figure out why you think I'm not, because of what the mother said to the child. And now guess what? The child started looking at the mother some type of way, because deep down in their heart there is a love that they have for their father, even during the time that their father is doing something wrong. They still love their father. Exactly. I always tell my kids to pray for him and that we love him, but do not agree with what he is doing. Yes. Yeah, you can't. You exactly. Don't throw him under the bus. Okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen here. I have just, like I said, some of these scenarios that I talked about, and in my situation was, I was about to leave my husband. I know the love that my husband had for his children. I didn't want to fight that fight. I was choosing my battles, and I chose not to, take on the battle for the children. Okay, because like I told you all last week, I already feared my husband. So I wasn't trying to, you know, fight that beast over the children. And I know they were going to be in great hands. I know that I was not leaving them with a stranger. He is equally their father as I am their mother. Right? Right? Someone say, do you encourage mothers to show kids that they are standing or hiding? I encourage you to show it. Right? Show that you're standing. Show that you're fighting. Hey, let's pray for your father. My oldest son, I remember him saying, Mommy, I had a dream. But that this person was in heaven, that person was in heaven, my auntie was in heaven, you was in heaven, but my daddy was in hell. Right? So I was like, oh my gosh. But I tell him, I said, don't worry. I said, we're gonna pray. We praying that he is in heaven too. We praying that he made it to heaven too. And although he dreaming at this time, I'm sure that isn't a worry that he have currently, being an adult that he is. So and let me tell you something. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I talked about how okay, so I only had two children at the time that I was going through, right? One was 6 years old and one was a baby. And so the 6-year-old, he saw a lot of things that he probably should not have seen as a 6-year-old. Okay. He have seen his father mistreat me. He have seen me cry. He have seen fighting. He have seen that. But let me tell you something. I remember specifically in 2017, he was graduating from high school. And he sent a message to his father. And he said, Daddy, I am so proud of you. He said, I want to be a man to my family just as you are to us. And I'm thinking, I was blown away by that message. Okay. I was shocked. No, listen here. I'm not even kidding y'all. I was shocked because I know what he experienced. I know what he saw, right? As a child, as grown, he saw our struggles. But let me tell you something. His memory wasn't the struggles. His memory wasn't the bitter moments that he had. All he saw at the end of it was, hey, we have been through a lot, but look where we are now. He said, oh, I remember when we had one bedroom, now we have three. So he was more excited of the outcome rather than the journey. The journey didn't make him bitter as a child. The journey didn't make him hate his father any less. It didn't. That's why some of y'all, I be trying to tell y'all, when wives fight, families win. Victory in this battle, you're not the only one who is going to reap a reward or benefit from the prize of this. Your children as well. They're going to be happy to see that, yeah, my mommy and daddy fight. My mommy cried. But look at them now. Victory is more exciting. Come on now. Victory is more memorable than the pain. The same oldest son, he came and says, Mommy, I'm so proud of you. He was 16, 17 at the time. He said, Mommy, I'm so proud of you. All that you went through, now you write your own book. Some people be like, but I don't want my children to think this okay. I don't want my children to think this normal. No, but if you don't want them to think it's okay, if you don't want them to think that it's normal, conquer this battle. Come out victorious. Come on, somebody. Come out victorious so they can see strength, so they can see power, so they can see one operating in her authority. Come on, somebody. So back to the topic. Many of you, y'all need to, just how y'all put your husbands in a position where he feel as if he could be out here free as a bird whilst you burden down. You could put him in the position and let him know that you aren't free as a bird because you got these responsibilities. Because why? Y'all gotta start sharing responsibility. Start sharing responsibility. Drop them children wherever he is. You have them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Pick it up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's how it's gonna be. These your children. Who could keep them? I don't know. What I can do about this? I don't know. Let them figure it out. If they have to figure it out, I bet you they will figure it out. If they have to figure it out, I bet you they will figure it out. The same sister, y'all know the one who I say she was worried because the kid had a skin issue, right? And the baby needed cream. Ask her. All she do is put the cream in the bag. And when the cream ain't in the bag, he call and say, "Hey, where the cream?" She said, "Well, I forgot to put it in the bag, so you got to get some from the store." What did he do? Ran to the store and bought the cream. Because why? Now he have that burden of responsibility that he didn't once have before. Come on, somebody. Now he got that burden of responsibility that he didn't have before. Because why? The fatherly instinct now can kick in because nobody is there to pick up the slack. Nobody is there to cause that particular, bone in his body to be dormant. So yeah, some of y'all, I know somebody can say, Maltaria, just help me. I know somebody can say that. Cause I just know how it go. You nah. Don't twist what I saying. I ain't telling y'all leave your husband. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying pick up your stuff and go. I ain't saying that. But I am saying because some of y'all, I be saying stay with your husband, y'all be trying to leave anyhow. So hopefully you get what I said, right? Gentle delivery. Us women need to be reminded of that, especially when it comes to dealings around the kids. Come on, gentle delivery. Come on now. So, like I say, I ain't saying go leave your husband because some people you come on here and say, Meldaria say leave my husband. No, I ain't saying that. For those of you who are already in the valley of decision, because you're at a place where you know you're mentally exhausted, you don't know what to do, you can't take it no more. Like you already trying to figure out how you want to exit, how you want to leave your husband anyhow. Right? I'm not saying, hey, if you have to leave your husband, go and divorce your husband. I'm not saying that. Sometimes you may have to leave for mental clarity, for mental health. Some people got to leave for safety. If that is you, leave them kids. Leave them kids with their father. You be the one calling them and seeing how they doing every day because you know you ain't gonna let that down. You gonna make sure you hear from your children every day. You know that you ain't gonna be slack concerning your children. You know if they need something. As a matter of fact, you ain't even gonna wait to hear if they need something. You popping up and showing up, hey, just to help at grocery. You know ain't nobody gotta ask you for that. You know that. Come on now. You know, ain't nobody gotta tell you come see your children. If you say, hey, I can be there to see them Saturday, you know you gonna be there Saturday to see them. You know if you tell them you gonna be to their basketball game, you know you gonna be there. You know, come on, somebody. We get real entitled about parenting these kids. Yeah, we get entitled. We out here thinking that we the only parent. Or the father is a rented parent. Or the father is a part-time parent. They only a parent on paper. That's what folk be thinking in their heads. And you may think that, oh, but but my children's small. So let him figure out how to deal with small children. There was a point in time in your life where you had to learn how to take care of your kids. There was a point in time in your life where you had to learn how to be a mother. Unfortunately, we never gave our husbands the chance and the opportunity to learn how to do that because we always there. We always figuring it out. We always doing that. Listen, at time, come on now. We entered into a new era now. I overinformed my husband. What he won't say about me is that I pushed him out. I overinformed my husband about what the kids doing. You always telling them what they're doing. That's what you're meaning, right? I you know something. Listen here. Come on now. You the parent gonna be it. Like I said, you remember I told you earlier how the daughter asked her mom to go live with her father. So I say, boy, the father even think about that. Like that was brilliant. She said, Mommy, I know you can show up. I know I can see you. I know you could be there. But she knew in order for her to get the type of relationship that she want, the presence that she want with her father, she knows she had to be living with him. Tell them what their schedule is, make them ask his permission also. Well, you know something, I believe in still asking his permission over respect. If it's okay with your father. But it depends on, your communication, how active he is. Now, if he ain't active, I can push the issue. Yeah. Yeah, they tell him he doesn't live here. I say, I don't care. Yeah, I think you have to use wisdom and judgment based on the relationship or your interaction, on how the co-parenting going. If he is actively co-parenting, picking up and doing all the time and doing everything that he needs to do, yes, still make sure that he is involved with the decision making. He pays all the bills here. Yeah, so he's still actively involved. So yeah, you're doing the right thing. Okay. My children will be physically in the kitchen with their dad. They will leave the kitchen and come ask me for a snack. Dad was right in the kitchen with you. He's the best cook in the house. My children, listen, my children just do that too. My children just do that. But the reason why I believe my children do that is because, you know, like technically I'm the kitchen manager. Like I know how all the snacks go and all that stuff like that. But this is why I say I don't know exactly, my children reasoning and how they ask who for what. Because one moment my son, me and my husband will be sitting right together, and my son will ask me, "Can I have, this or that?" And sometimes my husband would be right there and ask him if he can have this or that. For example, I believe it's based on they know what we accept and what we don't accept. Because my husband, he don't like when I'm talking about my youngest son, he don't like when he eat like sugary candies or anything like that. Me, I really check it, right? So if he want a sugary candy, he would go ask his father rather than ask me. So I think the reasoning behind who they choose to ask based on the children have seen the roles and responsibility of the house, and they kind of know who in charge of what. I don't know. But my children do that too. Sometimes my son will ask me, "Mommy, can I go somewhere?" And they daddy right there. And sometimes they would call their daddy and ask, "Can they go?" I don't know what their reason is, but that don't mean anything less than, these children. I don't know, they will ask me for a ride, and he is the one who controls our car. But the one another thing too, why they may avoid communication with the father because of his persona, right? Is he jolly? Because okay, so my husband, right? So when we were growing up, I recognized that they would always go to their mother and ask for any and everything. But their father, they would walk right past him like he don't exist. I don't know, but to me, their father was always like, he was a police, so he was always like, I don't know what to call him. Like he was approachable, he wasn't approachable, so they always asked their mother. So maybe that's why. Probably he ain't approachable. But the children know. The children know. They know who is who and what is the what in the house and how things go. But what I do sometimes when I like if you want to curve something, right? Because I notice, my when I see my children start asking me to go places and I feel as if that my husband would have a problem with it, I would just send them to their daddy, like go ask your daddy. I don't have a problem with it, but I know that he would have a problem with it, so I'll just go send them to their daddy. So now when certain places where they want to go, they would just bypass me and they would go right to their father because they probably know that I'll send them there anyhow. But yeah, you guys, that's listen here. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope that this was a good conversation. I hope that this, shared a different light. Like I said, it's an unpopular opinion. I know that people ain't gonna say, "Hey, leave your children with their father." They'll be like, "Hey, leave and carry your children." My son said my husband is mean when they're with him. Yeah, these children know. They know the vibes. They know. They absolutely know the vibes. But like I say, you got to use judgment, right? You got to use judgment. So everything that I say ain't across the board situation, right? Your husband may be hostile towards the children, right? So if your husband hostile towards the children, you know, if you pick up and leave, it may not be wisdom to leave your children, right? You got to use wisdom. Now, if your husband hostile towards the children, then you might not be permanently, but hey, you keep them a couple days, and I keep them a couple days. That still may be better than you taking on all responsibility of the children. Sister, sometimes he asks me about them too. Sir, it's your children. You can question them. Yeah, yeah. Like, go ask them. You want to know how they do? Go ask them. They doing good. Go ask them. But sometimes a shame, right? Not wanting to face the children. That ain't really a bad thing. That's the shame. So you know what you're doing wrong. Because now you don't want to face your children. You want to get secondhand information because you shame. That may be the case too. But it's okay. But you know what? It's how you deliver it too. Don't. Yes. Anyhow, you guys, that's at the end of our discussion for the day. Y'all listen here. Tomorrow, I don't know. Y'all know tomorrow's United States election. So I don't know. Y'all go out there and vote. Y'all, use wisdom in voting. Okay. Vote your conscience. Okay. Be wise in your voting. One thing I'm gonna say, those of you voting tomorrow, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. Okay. So if someone is speaking evil, they are evil. Okay. People want me choosing, pray and vote. Absolutely. People want to say, oh, but this person is doing that. But this person's saying this and saying that. Folk trying to be all deep about things. Yes, life is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. But some things right in your face. Okay? Some things are right in your face. You can't ignore what's in your face looking deep. Okay. Anyhow, y'all have an amazing day. You guys, for those of you who are watching, I see quite a bit of you are watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, I invite you to become an official supporter of the channel. Support. Become a supporter, a super supporter, or a VIP supporter. Becoming a supporter is going to allow me to be able to continuously come on here and do what I do, with empowering wise, inspiring wise, having good conversation, wisdom for wise. Going to continue, help me to continue do that. For those of you who are already supporters, this week I'm dropping some episode videos, private episode videos. Last week I told my story on how I overcome infidelity in my marriage. So these videos are going to be videos based on steps that you need to take, things that you need to focus on. So I'm going to be dropping episode at the time. So the first episode is going to be make your decision. Okay. So it's important, if you're going in this battle, to sit down, think about what you want, and make your decision. If you don't make a decision, your emotions are going to dictate everything to you, and you're going to be hearing everything, and you're going to be confused. What should I do? Should I do this? And should I do that? The reason why you're tossed to and fro is because you don't know what you want. You can't say, God, I want you to do something for me, if you don't know what you want yourself. Okay. So y'all make sure, be on the lookout for that video to drop. For those of you who are supporters of the channel, if you're not a supporter, make sure that you go ahead and support. Thank you guys for joining me today. Have a blessed day. I will see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a blessed day.